guys, M.V.K back again. As always, welcome back to another comic review. This time we're dealing with all DC. And this is not a DC pull list. I'm working right now on my latest DC pull that includes Absolute Batman #2 and Absolute Superman. So I'll get to that in a minute. When I finish that review will go up. But today, guys, I'm here to do a two-part review on a series that most of you guys have been asking me to read, and I will give a shout out to all you guys. Most of the people that I remember saying, "Have you read this? You should read this." Basically recommending me to read this. But the book in what it is, and I'm sure you read the title down below, but of course we're going to talk about Tom Taylor, one of my favorite writers, the king of multiverse or alternate universe storytelling. I will definitely put that up there. And we're here to talk about his title of The Dark Knights of Steel. This is basically a 12-part series. And I'm just going to talk about part 2 first, the first volume right now. And pretty much this is the DC universe in medieval times. Man, medieval times. I remember going there. No, sorry. Medieval times. It's basically an entire story of the DC heroes in the Dark Ages, in medieval. So the story pretty much starts off with Jor-El and Lara crash landing on Earth during the Dark Ages, and Lara is pregnant. She's about to give birth to young Kal-El. And when they see like the natives, and it looked like there's about to be a war battle, and Jor-El, he's telling them, "Look, we come in peace. We come in peace. Don't please stop." And he's like, "Stop!" And his heat vision activates and pulls them down. Over time, we see that everything has changed. There are 3 main kingdoms right now that they showcase. The Kingdom of Storms, which is where King Jefferson and his daughters, Princess Anissa, Princess Jennifer, and Prince Jacob. In this universe, Black Lightning has a son. And then there, of course, there's the Kingdom of El. And then, of course, there's the Amazon Kingdom. Now, the Jor-El and Lara rule the Kingdom of El, and their trusted knight in this is Bruce Wayne. He's the Batman. And, of course, he has his Robins, Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Stephanie, and that's all we see right now, but there are others. And he's similar to the Batman that we all know. Alfred is his loyal aide, and his loyalty is to the House of El. And throughout the storytelling, we're seeing that something impending is happening, where there's another player involved, and he's trying to get these 3 kings, and it's like a chess game. Somebody is playing an intricate part in getting these kingdoms to go to war with each other, because there's a couple of deaths, significant deaths. For example, King Jor-El is killed, and not only is he killed, who he's killed by Green Arrow, their version of Aller Queen. He shoots an arrow that was altered by this character called the Green Man, who basically he's carrying a Green Lantern ring, and he shoots it so far, farther than what arrow can shoot, and the arrow is made of kryptonite. Shoot him right in the face, dead. Then, of course, there's the death of Prince Jacob. And what's really cool about they all have powers, but in this, Bruce, he doesn't like a lot of people who have abilities. For example, they call Scarlet, the Black Canary in this, a banshee, and we see her fighting Bruce in this, and at one point she screams right in his face, and I'm like, oh, he should have been dead. And I'm like, what the, how is he alive? How is he alive? And that starts to play up in this. We also get a really cool understanding of the Waynes, in terms of that one of the biggest things is we find out, discovered in this series, is that Bruce and Clark, they act like brothers, and unfortunately in this they are. See, what happens is the Waynes ruled the kingdom that the house of the L's ruled. They were killed by a character, I'm not going to spoil who that is. They are killed, and basically they asked the L's to rule the kingdom because the people loved them. Because we get a lot of backstory into what was like growing up with them during this time, and we also get a in-depth look into what Bruce is about. The reason why he can do a lot of things that is amazing. Like, he should have been dead. You know, you're really like, wait, he should have been dead. His head, like I said, Black Canary, Dinah screams in his face, and she says, your head didn't blow off. Like, usually your head would blow off if I did that. And then we see why. So get this. There was a secret engagement between Jarrell and Martha Wayne. They had one night together. She got pregnant, and because Thomas Wayne could not conceive children, and at first he was dishonored, he was hating it, but when Bruce was born, all that hatred went away, and he just loved Bruce. So basically in this world, Bruce, Clark, and Supergirl, because in this universe, Supergirl, Zara Zor-El, is not his cousin, it's his sister, and so they're actually siblings. But throughout this whole book, this volume, Bruce calls himself a bastard because he technically is. He's a bastard. He's, you know, but like I said, there's a lot of deaths, and someone is playing an intricate part in bringing all these kingdoms into war with each other. And why? What's the reason for it? Like I said, you see a lot of different characters. Like the Lady of the Forest is easily Poison Ivy, and she's always talking about how, you know, Harley should stay with her and things like that because she actually likes her. Harley's like the advisor to the House of L, but she's also like the jester. Lois Lane is the advisor to the Amazons. Constantine is the advisor to the Kingdom of Storms, and he also had feelings for Jefferson, King Jefferson. He loved him, so they really play up like his bisexuality in this as well. So, so when Jefferson, there's another death. There's a couple of deaths in here. I'm not gonna spoil too many deaths, but somebody's playing them. It's being played. And we get to see the Titans in this: Raven, Cyborg, Beast Boy, and Corey, Starfire. We get to see who Alfred really is. Not gonna spoil who that is. And more importantly, the kingdoms are about to go to war, and we also do get to see we do get to see some things in this. But this was really fun. It was really good. It leaves you on a cliffhanger, and you're like, oh my god, what's gonna happen next? And then that moves us on to volume 2. This is volume 2 Unfortunately, I couldn't find it in a soft cover, and my store only had it in hardcover, so I was like, all right. But I was really looking forward to reading this to finish this off. Now, in this book, the war is almost about to begin between the kingdoms, and a lot of the characters in here are starting to realize that something is amiss, something is different, something is going on, something is wrong. Who's playing us? Somebody's playing us. And when Bruce nearly died in the past, in the last book, he nearly dies, and he's recovered and, like I said, rescued by the Titans. And they don't really like him very much because everybody doesn't like Batman in this very much because he's got this anger towards people with powers, and it comes a lot from what happened to his parents and things like that. But they do save him, and we also get a glimpse of Etrigan the Demon, and that was a twist to see who is Etrigan, his human form is. I am not gonna spoil who that is, even though this book has been out. That was a trip, and I was like, wait, what? No, whoa. But then I'm like, that makes somewhat sense a little bit. But like I said, Bruce does tell Clark the truth that, that we're brothers, and I loved seeing Clark just hug him. Like, I always looked at you as a brother anyway, so it was like that. I really enjoyed that. We get a very intricate look as well as to, like, Zor-El is Supergirl. She and Wonder Woman are lovers, I think, in this. They're lovers because they care about each other like that, so it's really cool. And more importantly, we also get to see, like I said, who Alfred really is. And we get a backstory. I'm not going to spoil who that is, but we do get to see who was trying to destroy the kingdoms. I will not spoil who that is, but if you really know DC lore, you probably will figure it out. And what I will tell you, it is not Darkseid. That is not who it is. But it is an alien race. I'm just going to leave it at that. But we see that the kingdoms, when they figured it out, they come to a truce later on. They sign a declaration of a truce, and they become the League instead. It's really cool. That was really cool to see. There's another backstory into where Bruce learned how to fight, and what it was like for them growing up. In this book, we also learned that Bruce learned how to fight from this world's version of Bane. So it was really cool to see that. The storytelling in this was just so good because, like I said, Tom Taylor really knows how to write alternate stories for characters, and it's not just DC. He's done it for Marvel too, but he does a masterful job, and you really enjoyed it. I mean, the fact that he gave Black Lightning a lead in terms of, like, he's the king of a kingdom, and I thought it was really interesting that they gave him an original character, a son, Jacob, and Nyssa, of course, and Jennifer. Jennifer could use electricity. Nyssa with her density powers and things like that. What Jacob was cool. He can basically create storm, like he can create rain and things like that. And it was crazy to see him how he took down Supergirl. I was like, oh shit. At one point, I was like, oh. But the way they were being played was really interesting too. But it was just good storytelling. I will say, if this still felt, the only nitpick I will say I had about this still felt like a Batman story. That's the only thing I still feel it felt like a Batman story, and I felt a little bit, I was like, this should feel more like a DC event, but it's centered more on Batman. And if that is something that you're not a fan of, because I know I know a lot of people that are just tired that DC still continues to shove Batman down people's throats, this may not be for you. But if you like medieval stuff and dark age stuff, and this is for you. It was interesting to see that they made Batman the son of Jor-El, Bruce Wayne, but he still has, and I love how Laura even says it. You are the son of El, but you're also the son of the Waynes too. So it was really cool to see that. So in this, yes, Bruce is half Kryptonian. He's half Kryptonian. And do we see him do some things? Yeah, he does. He flies. He does fly. And I remember Clark even asked, "Can you shoot beams out of your eyes like me?" He's like, "Yeah, I could do it." It only flares up when he needs it. But it was fun. It was really good. The artwork in this as well. The artwork by who does the artwork? There's a couple of artists, but I think it's Yasmin Poter does the artwork. Very good artwork. Very good. Like, if I was to just give you a little bit of like, look at this artwork right here. A Beast Boy as a dragon. That's beautiful. Yeah, Beast Boy turns into a dragon in this. But it was still cool. Basically, like I said, it was the DC universe, just medieval. People still had their powers, some didn't. Poor Arthur. I mean, not Arthur. Poor Ollie. I gotta spoil it. He gets his hand cut off by Bruce after he killed Jor-El. And now he only has one arm. But I love where him and Dinah together. And he's like, I can't use an arrow no more. She's like, well, you got one arm. Can't you use a crossbow? And he starts using a crossbow. So it's pretty funny. But even them forgiving it, even Queen Laura, she forgives him. She's like, you were being played, like you were under the plague of the real antagonists of the story. I'm not gonna spoil who it is, but when I saw it, I'm like, it makes sense. It makes sense. They would be. I'll say they, but it's not Darkseid. So first and foremost, guys, I want to thank several people for basically recommending me this. I got a few people. So if you don't hear your name and you did it, that doesn't mean I may have just forgotten you. So the people I definitely know for sure that was recommending me to read this. They kept saying, "Hey Chris, did you read that? Have you read this? Have you read this?" I'm like, no. And I was like, all right, let me get it. So I want to say thank you to Kira Sheehan. Thank you, Kira. You were definitely one of them. Zach the Thunder King was definitely another one that was saying to check it out. Solomon the Hooded, you also another one. Yin and Yang Lad, you were saying it like, you got to read this. There were three more. I'll give three more because I know there was a bunch, but three more that I remember right on top of my head was Blue Guardian. Blue Guardian was another one. He's like, you got to read this. You're a big Tom Taylor fan, read it. Comic Freak, you also were saying to read it, and there was one other person that I know. There's more, but there's one definitely I remember. Chris Funk, yes, Chris Funk, you were another one that was saying I should read it, even though you said yourself, I'm not the biggest DC fan, but this was actually good. Look at that. Okay, so thank you all for recommending me this. I really enjoyed Dark Knights of Steel. This is the 2 volumes. This is the 12-part set. Now I do know that DC is doing right now currently a miniseries set in this universe, and it's telling the story of Deathstroke. And in this universe, Deathstroke is a Viking. So I'm like, okay, that's interesting. So I will probably check that out when it come out in trade. I would love to see Mr. Taylor come back to this universe for another, maybe another round, because they, even though it ends on a good note and it kind of gets the medieval DC universe equivalent to the Justice League. Lois even says this may not. This may bring more battles in the future, because she started mentioning the people of the sea. I'm like, okay, I know who that. She probably talking about the sky people. I'm like, yeah, okay, I know what you're talking about. They may not like it, but I enjoyed this very much. If you haven't read this and you love Tom Taylor, I recommend this. This is good shit. Okay, and I don't mean it in a bad way, but this is good shit. Very good storytelling. The pacing was great. The artwork was beautiful. But I will say this: if you are not a big Batman fan, and trust me, because this does put a big spotlight on him in this. It's not. You may not like it, but I enjoyed it very much. Well, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed that. This was my review of the volumes, the whole series of Dark Knights of Steel by Tom Taylor. Y'all take care. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. As always, deuces.